Hi, I'm Jeanne Fiorini. Thanks for being here at the Tarot Tips. Today we're going to talk about something that I've gone on record as saying is a no-no, and that is yes and no questions. It's normally when a client asks, or if I'm addressing the cards and I'm wanting to know yes or no, is this going to happen, I always try to rephrase the question. Essentially, a yes and no question takes the power out of our hands. It makes it implied that something is either going to happen or not going to happen, and we don't have anything to say about it. That's one of those belief systems that you bring to the tarot. I don't specifically believe that that's true. So I always like to remind myself that I have some creative control in my life, or kind of quietly remind my client that they have some creative control in their life. And I always, most times, try to rephrase a yes-no question. So for instance, someone wants a new job. Rather than saying, will I get a new job? I would rephrase the question into something like, if I want a new job, if that's the goal, what do I have to do to get there? What's my best approach? What are my possible obstacles? Draw cards which give you some leverage, which give you some options about how to approach the situation or to attain your goal. But with that said, sometimes we just can't help ourselves. Sometimes we want to know yes or no. So I ran across this situation the other day with a client, and I thought, well, it's an interesting topic for the tarot tips. So yes and no questions. Essentially, you are going to get one of four responses from your cards. If you decide that that's the direction you're going to go, is this going to happen, yes or no? Four possible choices here, four possible replies from the cards. Here's number one. Number one would be yes. Yes, your goal will be accomplished. You might get cards such as 10 of Cups, 6 of Wands, 3 of Pentacles, cards of stability, cards of happiness. Major Arcana card, you might get the Judgment card. Things having come to a crossroads and, fruition time for you. So possibility number one is you'll get a yes answer. Number two possibility, no. Clearly, no. Not going to happen. When hell freezes over, that sort of thing. No. Cards that you might get around a no response would be, kind of the obvious ones. 3 of Swords, maybe 5 of Cups. If you're in the Major Arcana, maybe things like the Devil card. There are other forces blocking this, the attainment of this goal. Maybe the Death card. Maybe the 10 of Swords, like forget about it. So option number 3, potential response from the cards, and I run into this quite often, maybe you do, and that is the cards essentially saying, we're not going to talk about that. We don't want to address that right now. Don't even go there. And sometimes when that happens, I find it a little comical. But also, it lets the person know that it's not either the right time or the right question for a yes or no response. So the we don't want to talk about it right now response from the cards could be things like 7 of Swords, walk away with those thoughts and that decision. 2 of Swords, we're going to run into the swords here. 2 of Swords, keep it out of your mind. We're not going there. We're not talking. Lips are sealed. We don't want to address that right now. Hanged Man might be a Major Arcana card that you might see there. Perhaps the High Priestess, like just let it be. Don't worry yourself about it. The situation that came up the other day is the 4th option. Somebody asked a yes or no question. She was pretty clear about what she wanted to have happen. And she got the Star card. And I thought, well, that's interesting because that implies that possibilities are out there. Maybe, yet to be determined. It could happen. It's in the realm of possible outcomes. I like the hopefulness of that, but not the definitiveness of that. You know, like things are not yet written. So the star card might be something that you get in response to, well, possibilities exist. Perhaps the Two of Wands, again, having that feeling of options are out there, we just don't know yet. Things haven't materialized in a way that gives us a clear yes or no answer. Perhaps the Seven of Pentacles, you know, things need to be come into form. Things need to be rearranged a little bit. Things need to be adjusted for that to happen. It could, but maybe it won't. So, you know, indefinite, but possibilities exist. I like that response. It just sort of came off the top of my head, and it seemed to resonate with the client. For my birthday this past autumn, somebody gave me a card which said, it's a quote from somebody, and I wish I could remember who right now, but it shows some animals and some children playing, and the sentence on the card is, apparently there is nothing that cannot happen today. And that's a nice way of saying, speaking or addressing the energy of the Star card, also the Two of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles, maybe even the Lover's card. It's like, well, that question helps you think about what is it that I really want? And then if that's the case, what can I do in order to make that happen? So the yes and no question, it's a little bit, it's a little bit risky. If you have to do it, be aware that you might get a yes. I guess yes was over here. You might get a no. You might get a forget about it. And you might get a, well, possibilities exist. So take your chances. Don't tell anybody I said it was okay to ask a yes and no question. We'll see you next time.